Welcome. Welcome. Hi. Thanks for joining us. Join us now. Thanks for joining us here at the cult of Richard and Paul. Oh, my lips are dry. I'll need to moisturize using my Vivibalm.
Vivibalm.
But all of that in a moment and more coming up today on
Sunday Chat.
There we are.
I used to love that programme. It
What
was
programme?
Soap. It was such a brilliant comedy programme. It really was. I used to so look forward to watching it, and it was also just a bit past my bedtime, I think. And
It was.
Was it 10:30 actually?
It was late.
I think it was late, and I would sort of sneakily stay up, which wasn't too sneakily because Mum and Dad were usually there, but I was allowed to watch it. It was so good.
I was usually on my own on a Friday night. I think it was a Friday night.
I think it was,
Because my mum and dad went out to the pub
Oh yeah.
on a Friday night and left me to babysit.
Yeah, if it was a Friday night, Mum was most probably at work at the Old Government House Hotel in Guernsey. Yeah, or another hotel. So I used to love it. Billy Crystal, wasn't it?
Jessica Tate.
Jessica Tate, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's excellent. Excellent.
Lovely.
The final series got a bit bizarre. Do you remember there was a UFO in it, the final one?
Well, everybody had a UFO at some point.
Yeah.
Dynasty had Fallon.
Really?
Yeah, she was abducted by aliens.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course Dallas had a whole series.
The whole series was just a dream. It was Pam's dream, wasn't it? Oh, Barbie, I dreamt you were dead.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh, Pam, it was just a dream. I'm here in the shower.
Which was quite apt because he was the man from Atlantis, wasn't he? So he had all his web feet and things in
Paul,
the shower.
That was a character that he was playing.
Oh, was it? I thought it was real. Yeah. Oh.
Anywho, let's get on with the bloody show, shall we?
Yes. I've already gone off that way, haven't I? Yeah. Right. What's on the list, Richard? What's the first thing on the list?
The first thing I'm going to do is get a tissue. Because I've got a little bit of I'm still getting over that cold.
Of course, it is tissue, isn't it? It's TISSUE, and we so often say tissue, and that is incorrect. It is tissue.
Well, common people may say tissue.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, welcome and thank you as usual to all of those who follow us on various platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, our Facebook group, Planet Vegetaria, and of course our coffee page. And we've had quite a few new members join us on coffee.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite active in comments and things this week, and
there will be more bonus content coming up soon.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Bonus content.
Bonus.
Yes. Yeah.
Bonus.
Yeah, not bonus content, which sounded like, it's a bonus. Yeah.
I don't think it did, Paul. I think it was your filthy mind. Thank you very much. So, weather. We always kick off with Rich and Paul's weather report. Well, autumn is here. Is that window open?
Yes, that
I've got to
window's
shut the bloody
open.
window because of the noisy neighbours.
Yeah, it has been quite noisy in the street this morning. It usually is on a Saturday. There's quite a lot of foot traffic, and there's a work going on the house opposite that's been going on there for like 2 years.
Look, if any neighbours do watch, we're very quiet. We're the quietest neighbours you'll ever have.
Yeah, that's true, really.
Are the noisiest neighbours anybody could ever have.
Yeah, unless we're trying to sell the house next year, in which case our neighbours are just perfection. Every single one of them is absolutely delightful and never makes a noise, and there are no children shouting ever, ever, ever. Yeah.
IDC. That means I don't care.
A neighbour did once say to me about something I'd said, and I said, well, it is true, and I've said that to your face. And they said, yes, but we didn't expect you to say it to the face of lots of other people as well. And I went, well, there we are. Yeah.
Well, knock at the door, we will tell it to your face.
Yes.
It's like that. Go tell it on the mountain.
Are you not allowed to do
Go
that?
tell it straight to your face.
Yeah.
Over the hills and far away, that's where you need to go.
Mm.
Autumn is here.
Yes.
Autumn is here, and
so's
of course,
midday. Midday's here as well.
Of course, people are asking themselves questions like, when will the fireworks start? How do I get my washing dry? And when will it be time to put the heating on? All of those questions won't be answered in today's episode.
No.
However, I am starting to wonder how I'm going to get my washing dry.
He is. He was talking about that earlier. Yeah.
Such a pain.
I said that's why you've got a
dehumidifier and a fan.
And
I know. It does help. But I'm missing already those gorgeous sunny afternoons. Those gorgeous sunny afternoons where the sun streams in and dries the washing in an instant.
whilst you're snoring on the sofa there,
Whilst
having
I'm
a nap.
on the sofa having a nap.
Yeah.
That's why we have machines to do things for us, so
Well,
we
so-
can take a nap.
Take a nap.
That's the luxury of modern living.
Oh, dearie me. Yeah.
Really?
So the weather.
Weather, humidity. Oh God. High humidity. High. High.
So it absolutely chucked it down midweek. I mean, it really did. I think we were quite fortunate because in London we were at the top of a band of rain. So even though we got it pretty heavy, down below it was much, much heavier. And certainly in Cranley, when I was speaking to Vanessa, they had flooding, areas were cut off because roads were completely flooded. That's now dissipated, but there's more to come tomorrow. But I think the ban tomorrow is more centralised over London.
Oh, goody.
So we may get quite a bit tomorrow.
We've had a lot of rain this week. We've had some thunder. We've had sun.
A little bit of lightning.
Yeah, the storms weren't particularly anything to write home about, but there were a couple of big claps of thunder. But yeah, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah, but I did.
Why?
Yeah.
That's going to send my sound levels through the roof forward. You don't need to do that either every 5 bloody seconds.
Right, I'm going to shut up
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So yeah.
But you've felt it's quite warm this morning, haven't you?
Well, I've sort of felt warm. I was doing some ironing, and one does feel warm when one does one's ironing.
Surprising, yeah. And
But-
were you steaming as well? Were you steaming or just ironing?
Well, I was using the steam iron.
Yeah, so the humidity was higher.
Yeah, but it has been really sticky. It's okay if you're sitting around having a nap. But if you're doing stuff, you get really hot really quickly.
Yeah.
And also, I've had to put the dehumidifier on in the bedroom because we got into bed last night and it just, I don't know, the sheets felt damp. People like me moaning.
I know.
People wanted me to come back and moan rather than be positive.
Oh, well, they're getting it full on today.
Yeah. Moaning is life. Life is moaning. You heard it here first. So yeah, autumn is definitely here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Leaves
it
are
is.
falling already.
They are. I think it's been quite a difficult year for trees because we've had spells of heat, we've had spells of heavy rain, but we haven't had spells of sort of regular rain. And I think the take-up of water into trees has been a bit hit and miss, and some of them have gone brown. Branches have gone brown and died,
Paul, I think you're forgetting the major factor is that we've had a couple of unseasonable storms.
Yeah, we have.
That have been high winds.
Yeah. Yeah.
that have weakened tree branches. So I think that's played a big role, because wind when trees are in leaf, it's like a sail, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Paul, thank you. So lovely. I'm back at work last week, having had a week off with a cold. I am feeling much better.
Oh, that's
Although
good.
I have a constantly running nose.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
think that's normal.
I think that's normal for you.
C'est la
now,
normale.
Yeah.
Lovely. In the news this week, Paul. What?
Nothing.
Just looking at my glowing skin.
I was looking at your beauty, baby, from the side. Yeah.
I'm rocking a sort of 80s do today. I'm sort of inspired by Laurie Anderson.
Are you?
Yeah, she's got a new album out, and it's all about the final flight of Amelia Earhart.
Oh, right. Yes, I've heard about that. Yeah. Not the final flight, the album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Though, of course, we don't know all about the final flight of Amelia Earhart, do we?
Well, we know so much.
Well, yes, but not all of it.
We know that she was trying to radio back, but we couldn't get what was being said, apparently. Yeah, interesting story. I love a bit of Laurie Anderson. She's a great storyteller, and she's, I don't know, she has such a style about her. You know, it's very individual. You know a Laurie Anderson production, mainly because of her voice, you know. But yes, looking forward to that.
And one of the longest singles of all time.
Oh,
isn't
Superman.
It? Oh, Superman. Wasn't it
was
7.5 minutes?
Yeah,
or something
like that. And of course,
Yeah.
there was nothing like it at the time. It was
No.
considered a complete, groundbreaking song and production. Yeah, amazing. And nobody really understood it at the time. People
No.
bought it because it was so different. But it was number one for quite a few weeks
It was,
in the
yeah,
UK.
yeah.
And they always used to cut it short.
Well, yeah, because they don't play 7 minutes. No. I got itchy nose
Oh,
today.
shut up, Paul.
Yes, can be arguments today.
So in the news this week, I wanted to talk a little bit about this bloody dynamic pricing of tickets,
Oh, yes.
which was sort of spurred on by the announcement that Oasis were reforming to do concerts. Yeah, Yawnarama. God, just don't understand that band
It's
at
just
all.
whiny
voices, all the songs sound the same.
Yeah.
Just no way, man. I wouldn't ever pay to see a concert by them. Wouldn't even look at a concert by them. Sorry, but you know, if you're an Oasis fan, I do apologise, but
For you being an Oasis fan.
sorry about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, dynamic pricing. This is the ticketing system that basically inflates the price of tickets either the closer to a gig that you book or the demand.
The higher
price.
the demand.
Higher the demand, the higher the price. Which to us who worked in ticketing in several different ways, I worked for Ticketmaster, I also worked for Wembley, so we were very familiar with the ticketing processes of the time, which was late 80s, early 90s. And basically then a ticket price was set, very often with a booking fee,
Yeah.
and that's it. The ticket, that's what you pay. That's the ticket price. It didn't change. Unless the ticket prices went up in
Yeah,
price.
unless they went up in price. And
Which very often they would do en masse anyway.
yeah, you would have, I mean, when I was at Bill Kenwright, with things like, you know, a new season might come along and prices had increased generally.
Yeah.
And we'd put Blood Brothers up by, you know, £1.50, £2.50 a ticket or something like that. That was, and it usually happened every couple of years. It wasn't a regular sort of changing thing. But this is, and literally somebody can buy a ticket at this moment and it be, you know, £100, which is extortionate anyway. And then 10 seconds later, because that ticket has meant that demand has increased. This one could be £115, and it's dynamic in that it changes in the moment, and that for me is just profiteering. It's not covering your costs and making a profit. It's profiteering, because you've already covered your cost usually at that point. Now you're just making a profit and you're putting the prices up.
And I think the problem that I've got with it all is, where is the consumer protection? Because apparently, I was reading, this is all legal.
Yeah, completely legal.
This is completely legal to do. And I don't understand that. You know, where are the organisations that stand up for the people, to protect the people? You know, organisations,
consumer rights. Yeah.
Consumer rights, Citizens Advice, Which Magazine, all of these companies, why are they not all standing up and saying, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening? Promoters and concert organisers and artists and agencies should be doing what's best for the consumer,
whilst being able to make a decent profit.
Well, yeah, but you know, I mean, everything's about greed nowadays.
Well, that's it. It's about making extortionate and super profits.
You know, and actually, the whole system, if you look at it from the point of view of people's wages versus price increases versus massive profits made by companies, if you sort of string that all together, again, the person on the street is the loser every time.
Yeah. At the moment, that
Every
does seem
time.
to be the case.
You know, and it doesn't seem that these large corporates, including energy companies and you know, whatnot, it doesn't seem that anybody is playing any kind of game that benefits the user.
Well,
the
at the moment,
consumer.
it's not.
So, you know, I wonder how much longer this can go on with all of this until there is more civil unrest. There are more demonstrations, you know, where people stand up and say enough is enough. And to me, the unfairness of it is that we have a government in place that is supposed to be for the people, yet we've heard nothing about this. We've heard nothing other than, oh, I'm sorry, but you know, the previous government have left us in a real mess. That means we're going to have to charge you all more for various things. Sorry.
Well, no, the government's not charging more. It's going to be putting taxes up,
That's
which is
charging us more.
But no, the Labour government,
service.
the Labour government have actually said we're going to look into this, and because we think this dynamic pricing is not working for the consumer. So actually, for once, we do have a government which is stepping forward and saying, right, we're going to look into this because this needs to be sorted. I think that needs to happen more across the board, you know, with energy companies and things like that. I mean, even, you know, when Jeremy Hunt helped out the consumer by giving everybody in the UK or every household £600 when the prices rocketed, that helped the consumer, but actually it didn't really, because it just increased the debt of the government, which is the debt of the people, and he should have just said, actually, this price cap's not working, we're going to bring it down and allow you to make a decent profit rather than super profits, which is what happened. His action created super profits for energy companies, and it was obvious from the beginning it was going to. And we're sort of, with all this dynamic pricing, it's I don't want to go to the theatre anymore, really, and it's down largely to the fact that we've seen a lot, and there's a whole load of revivals that are always going on, and between us, we've seen most things that, you know, were written up to like the early 2000s, and also because ticket prices have rocketed. I mean, in 1996, I remember when I was at Bill Kenwright, Phantom was £25. Blood Brothers was £24.50, And then what happened is we put it up to £25 and £27.50 at the weekend, and then Phantom went to £29.50, and that was the price. That was the top price. There was a range of prices,
34,
including booking fee.
Yeah.
Including the Ticketmaster booking fee, of which you work for Ticketmaster. But the thing is, when in those days, people were talking about Ticketmaster and other First Call and other ticketing agencies started putting it on things like a ticketing fee. So there was a booking fee, then suddenly there was a ticketing fee, which meant if you wanted your tickets printed and sent to you, rather than collecting them at the theatre, Kobo, you had to pay a bit more. Then there was a transaction fee added. So suddenly you had
That wasn't happening when I was there.
You had the ticket price, then you had a ticketing fee, then you had a transaction fee, and you had the commission that the agent was taking, which took a ticket from £27.50 up to like £34. And now it's even worse than that, because with this dynamic pricing, they just say tickets from £22 or whatever. And you get there and you find, the £22 ticket is really restricted for you because it's 3 metres along from the chip shop, 2 miles down the road. And then your top price ticket is like £150 and then even more.
Well, they do it on ABBA Voyage, don't they? I mean,
they do.
If you want a cheap ticket for ABBA Voyage, you have to pay well in advance and be standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but I ain't standing through no concert.
No.
I want to be sat down. I want to enjoy the view. I want to see the whole thing. I don't want to be stood up with somebody dancing in front of me. I don't think so. But, if you want to go and see ABBA Voyage next week and sit down in a really decent seat in a central location in the venue, it's £350.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. It really is.
So I just think it's so unfair, as are so many things in life at the moment.
Yeah. For the consumer.
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
It's the consumer every time that gets stung, and my worry is that we are so apathetic, generally. That we all just go, oh, well, that's just the way it is.
You mean as a society we are?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We are all apathetic, And, I've spoken to people at work, for example, about fuel prices, when the cost of living crisis sort of started. And I was saying to people, do you realise how much you're going to pay? And people sort of went, oh, well, not much we can do about it. It's like, well, no, there isn't much we can do about it other than keep a very tight control on what we use, which again is a stress. It's a stress, We never used to worry about what we were using, particularly, because we weren't paying through the nose.
Yeah. I said to him a couple of weeks ago, I said I shop at Lidl sort of twice a week usually, and the basket used to be around the basket of the two, so the two together used to work out around sort of like 35, maybe £40. Now I think 2 baskets are more like £55-60, and there's not, this isn't being extravagant and buying things that are pricey. It's Lidl, it's tight pricing. These are just sort of buying the things that we normally buy, and I've seen that basket rise, and of course all the other costs have risen as well. And even though energy prices have come down from where they were the beginning of last year, they're still way ahead of where they were two and a half years ago. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There we are.
Anywho,
Whinge.
That's
Moan.
The other thing we were thinking about and talking about was companies' general neglect for things like recycling
Oh, yeah.
and respect for the environment. You had a situation where Vanessa purchased a mouse for
Yeah.
the computer and it wasn't working.
So she's bought a new laptop because our old one was completely decrepit in the shop, and she bought a new one, and it was just a touchpad, so she bought a separate Hewlett-Packard mouse. And it arrived, and I didn't really know about this till I went down, and then she said to me when I was down there on Monday, she said, there's an issue with the mouse, we can't get it to work, it's a wireless mouse. I thought, well, maybe it's not connected properly, but no, it was connected properly. The issue was the left click didn't click. There was nothing that it clicked against to work. So we had a look at it, and I said, no, it'll have to go back. So she phoned Hewlett-Packard. She bought it direct from them, and she phoned them, and very, very swiftly they sorted it out for her. Brilliant customer service, I have to say. She spoke to somebody, they passed her straight to somebody else, and it was sorted. We'll send you a new one. But the old one, just keep it or throw it in the bin. I mean, that is insane. They should have a product send back service where if something's not working, you send it back. If they've just sent you something that is brand new and it's not working, they should have to take it back.
They should take
and
responsibility.
recycle it.
Yeah.
Rather than saying throw it in the bin. I mean, to not even say recycle it at a local centre or something like that is outrageous in itself, but to say throw it in the bin.
There should be automatically, with small items like that, it should automatically be, we will send you a pouch.
Yeah. Free post pouch.
Free post pouch, just send it back to us.
Yeah.
In that pouch.
Absolutely.
Put it into the mail. Automatically.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. I mean, if I know a lot of people don't like Amazon, but if Amazon can do you don't like that product, then here's your return label, send it back to us. If they can do that for Prime members, then I'm sure all of these big Hewlett-Packards and all of those have the money to do that as well. It's outrageous.
It is. Lovely. Super duper smashing special.
And there are too many things that don't work as well. Somebody else I was speaking to a couple of weeks ago got a cable, and the cable didn't work, and it was tested by their husband, who sort of understands cables and energy or whatever going through it, charges or whatever. And he said it actually it's broken in the middle, and this was a brand new cable, and it was broken.
I used to have a thing, because I think I went through a spate of buying stuff and it not working properly. And I was always so nervous about buying anything in case it didn't work. But nowadays the process of sending stuff back, like you say, to Amazon, I mean, normally they're brilliant. Actually their customer service is very good if you ever speak with them. They normally agree to send a replacement and agree to, you're returning the item, and will collect stuff as well, which I think is great. They may as well collect if they're in the area delivering. That's the thing about today's market.
Yeah.
There's always something being delivered. Yeah, I don't know. Just annoying.
Yeah, terribly annoying. Yeah.
Anyway, Paul, it's time for Word of the Week. God,
excitement.
My favourite.
You can tell on his face when he opens the thing where there's lots of text or just a little text. You can just see it on his face.
I'm making an executive decision. If there's lots of text, I'm simply not doing it.
Oh,
that's it.
Poor you.
It better be an easy... Oh, okay.
There we are, see? Yeah.
The word is pataphysics. P-A-T-A physics.
No.
Okay, the French writer and absurdist playwright Alfred Jarry author of Ubu Roy, was born on this day in 1873. One of his gifts to the world was the absurdist discipline, or perhaps anti-discipline, of pataphysics. Notionally, the study of anything that eludes precise scientific or other description. Jarry coined the word, in French, pataphysique, in 1907, explaining that it was short for epimetaphysics. Aristotle's metaphysics was all the stuff that went beyond physics. So epimetaphysics was all the stuff that went beyond that. An ironic and playful formulation, certainly describing the absurdist irony of his art, but by no means simply facetious. To this day, there are pataphysical societies in London, New York City, Portland, and elsewhere. Pataphysics, Jarry explained, was the science of imaginary solutions, an exact science and a liberal art. When real solutions fail us, why not try imaginary ones?
Fair enough.
Okay.
So imaginary solutions to...
Doodah and Lala.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think
Rewind if you
confused
want
by
to
that
listen
one.
to it again. So it's time for the final segment of the week, which is, what have we watched on television this week, Paul? What have we watched? Well, we watched a movie.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. And for some reason, I was thinking about Jenny Agutter.
We've both been thinking about Jenny Agutter.
I think I'd seen something, maybe an interview with her, and...
Oh, I know what it was. It was because we were watching that series.
Oh, the...
Railway Children.
Yeah, E. Nesbit.
Yeah.
And we were reminded of the Railway Children, classic movie, blah, blah, blah.
And Daddy, My Daddy, that scene.
Yeah. And I was thinking about Jenny Agutter and how much I enjoy Jenny's work. And
we were talking about how, she did a lot, but you don't see her in very much sort of over the last few decades.
Well, she did.
Particularly.
She's been doing Call the Midwife, hasn't she?
Oh, yes, of course, which we don't watch.
No.
Yes, of course she has, yeah.
So she has been working, but she always chose, I don't know, her agent got her projects, which were really interesting. And one of the films that I remembered, which I hadn't seen for many years, was I Start Counting, which is based on the book of the same name. And I had a look and it was available on YouTube, and I said, why don't we watch I Start Counting? And this is a 1970 film, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Early.
I really like the film. I think it's a really good movie.
It's very tight. It's the direction is very tight but still flowing. And the acting in it is really excellent.
So this is the story of Wynne, and Wynne is adopted, and she lives with her mum, her granddad, her brothers, two brothers, and Wynne is sort of a little bit attracted to her older brother, who's obviously not her real brother.
And he's much older.
Yeah,
yes,
he's much older, and she's a little bit obsessed with him. And there are some murders happening in the area.
There's a serial killer.
There's a serial killer on the loose. And it's the story of essentially Wynne's teenage fantasies about a variety of different things. And I won't give too much away because I don't want to spoil it, but it's not a very well-known film, and it's certainly not shown on television very often. But it's a really, as Paul said earlier, it's a really good piece of work. And
Black and white.
It's not black and white.
Isn't it? I thought it was black and white.
Oh, it's colour.
Oh no, it's colour, yeah. I was watching something else. It's black.
And it's very of its time. And the location, it was filmed in Bracknell, when Bracknell was being transformed into a new town. I don't think was it a new town as such,
No,
or was
I
it
don't
just
think
rebuilt?
it was just that sort of huge boom of building in the 70s where towns expanded.
Yeah.
And it became quite a major commuter town. Yeah.
There's lots of area of sort of wasteland, new builds, old houses being knocked down. And it's kind of set in this environment. And it has, it's got a very, very stylized feel to it. There are some astonishing pieces of cinema, actually.
Yeah.
That scene where she walks into that house where the older woman lives.
Yeah.
Where she's walking through in the symmetry of the scene. It's very of its time. I'm not going to say anything more in case you decide to watch it because it's available for free on YouTube. But
in the UK, whether it is other territories, don't know.
Yeah, it's a really interesting film, and it's very, very early 70s, very influenced by the late 60s in terms of fashion. But it really gives you a sense of being a teenager with still all of those sort of childish fantasies and notions that you have, trying to connect the dots, trying to understand how you feel about something, trying to make sense of something which is maybe mysterious or dangerous or playful or whatever. But
it's also within a society of change, isn't it? At that time, there was so much changes going on with society and community.
Yeah.
And this is set in a sort of it's not a sort of big tower block, but in a sort of multi-floored sort of housing complex, and it's quite interesting how that I think has changed things as well.
And there are also different parallels that are going on all the time between old and new. So there are these new freedoms of the teenager, for example. Teenagers being able to go out and, maybe do a little job and maybe go to the cafes and, enjoy being a teenager. The old and new attitudes that were coming in around living spaces, housing, old being swept away, and the new being introduced. For example, where they live, the flat, everything's very white and clean and fresh.
And angular.
And whereas the old house, I won't give too much away, is very old and decrepit and just, I'm not going to say any more. It's really worth a watch. I feel it has...
So you are going to say some more?
I feel it has the feel of a 70s period piece. Some might say it hasn't aged well, because there are still all of those attitudes from the 70s contained within it. So it's of its time.
Yeah, it is of its time.
It's of its time. You can't really compare it. And it couldn't be... I don't think it could be updated now. I don't think it would work.
It would have to be very different. That's all. It would have to be very different.
So I start counting 1970 Jenny Agutter.
YouTube.
We've started the new BBC series Earth, presented by Chris Packham.
Yeah.
Now we both like Chris Packham.
Yeah.
For the work that he does.
And the graphics, the cinematography in this is great.
Stunning. The CGI, stunning.
The music,
Bit over the
top. Yeah.
The script, well, I mean, it's as though they made this series for 5-year-olds. Because for me, it's about the explanations. It's about, for example, we're looking back at the Earth billions of years ago, and blah, 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 and the bacteria is... Where did the bacteria come from?
Yeah, how did that bacteria evolve to be bacteria?
What happened there? How did that start? None of that's explained. And they keep doing it.
Yeah.
And here are the eukaryotes. They're a little bit more complex than bacteria. Well, how did the eukaryotes get there? What happened to create those? Why are they becoming more like multi-celled creatures? What happened? You know, there is a lack of complete explanations. You know, we're not looking for the exact science of why it happened, but we're looking for, well, this may have happened because of X, Y, and Z, and we know that if X, Y, and Z happens, this could occur. We don't get that. So
and then
it seems oversimplified.
In the second episode, which was called Snowball, which was when the Earth went frozen again, or the surface went frozen over, hundreds of millions of years, they start talking about something at the beginning, and you think, hang on, you're saying that's the first time, but that happened like 3 billion years ago, because you told us about it in the last programme. So it unlike the fantastic visuals of lava flow, the linguistics of this don't flow that well, I don't think. Nothing to do with Chris Packham, it's to do with the script. It just doesn't seem to...
It's not fully formed,
yeah,
as far as I'm concerned. It's not fully formed, it doesn't have full explanations, it doesn't back up stuff. I mean, it does. The one thing I will say for the script is it does bring things together.
Yeah.
Sort of towards the end of the programme.
It feels a bit like a young children's book where things are just taken for granted and then it all comes together at the end.
I'm all for being accessible to everyone. Yeah. But I think actually you're being slightly insulting of children as well. Because kids need to know full explanations to things, even if it's put in simple terms. So I think it's a little bit insulting. It's a little bit talking down to you.
I just think it doesn't give the information that we want.
Let's keep it nice and simple for everybody,
it does feel
so
a bit like
everybody can understand it, even the stupid people. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not Brain of Britain, but I would like something a little fuller. Really.
There we are.
We continue with Time Bandits,
which we're rather enjoying.
Okay.
I enjoy it more than he does. I find it sort of quite amusing.
I just think the weakest actor is the young boy.
Yeah, he's a bit sort of samey, but then again, I think he would be sort of at that age.
I've seen better child actors.
Well, I've seen better child actors.
Jenny Agutter.
Hello. Yeah, I think it's quite fun. And
it is fun.
Yeah, but of course you don't take it seriously. It's Time Bandits.
Yeah. We watched Only Connect as usual.
Yeah.
I don't know why we watch it.
Why do we
watch it?
I think we
Why do we watch half the things we watch?
Because I enjoy some of them and you fall asleep in the rest.
Yeah, well, that tells us something about the evening, doesn't it?
Well, find something else to watch, Richard. Or do, yeah.
Actually.
Go and do your perfuming and I'll watch Whitstable Pearl. Yeah.
I can't be perfuming every night. I haven't got unlimited perfuming resources, Paul. I think we waste the evenings very often by sitting down and watching too much television.
Good, there we are.
I do.
Richard wastes his evening by I sort of relax. I'm quite happy to read.
I think the evenings, we need to restart our gaming evenings.
Yeah, you were the one that... But yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't do anything of the sort.
You did. Right, we're gaming this evening. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And we've started a new series
On
on
Netflix.
Is it Netflix?
The Perfect Couple.
With Nicole Kidman.
Had rave reviews, all of that, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All people are binge watching it. Oh,
I don't
really?
I don't like any of the characters. They could all die, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, one
and
does.
I really wouldn't care. The
It's-
one that has died
was my
notice,
favourite character.
Was the nicest person.
Absolutely. My favourite character was the one that dies.
Obviously, they've done that for a reason. But why do they think we'll continue to watch?
I don't know.
All those hateful characters.
I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, every single character is
Horrid.
Horrid. Yeah, basically, and I just don't understand why they make these things.
I felt like that about Schitt's Creek at the beginning, Paul, when I first watched it.
Yeah, but Schitt's Creek is 23 minutes per episode. This is an hour.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I don't know whether we'll continue or not.
I think I will I will continue one more episode and give up. Yeah.
That's it. That's it for this week.
Loudermilk. I watch Loudermilk. When he's snoring on the sofa, I watch Loudermilk and just love it. I think it's great. Yeah. Don't love it as much as Schitt's Creek, but I do love it. And don't love it as much as Ted Lasso, but do love it. Yeah. There we are.
This is the result of regular sleep.
I'm waking up early. The thing is, when he wakes up, I've said this before, it's like Bagpuss, when he wakes up, everything else wakes up, because you start getting this sort of like snuffling and sort of movement in the bed, and it's sort of like, oh, right, it's time to wake up, even though it's 5:30. Okay, yeah. What? You look at me as though you're surprised.
And the reason why I get woken up is the steam train next to me.
That's not fair. I wear a thing now, so it doesn't happen
I
as
think
much.
you need to wear two of the things because they're clearly not working.
Or put a pillow over my head. Maybe that's what he'll do one day. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
We won't see you next week.
We've already said that service will be disrupted.
I know, but I just thought it's best to say that.
How do we know?
Well, I don't think we will.
We've not planned that.
We've got
a few busy weekends coming up. So service may be interrupted, but we will let you know.
We'll let you know. There we go. I just thought we'd give a little advance.
Bye for now.
Bye.